Good morning, and thank you for joining us here on our live webinar. I love live webinars. That's kind of hard to say. I love live webinars because we get to interact with you, our CMLs that are joining us today, and our team. And first of all, I want to say a big welcome to Natalie Frisk. Natalie is our guest host, our guest today. So, hey, Natalie, want to say good morning to everyone?
Hey, Kim. Yeah, thank you so much. Hey to everyone. I'm so glad to see a couple familiar faces. So that's nice. And really excited to be here with Kim in the Hive. Thanks for having us to
Yeah.
CTA and all the team.
Yeah. Hey, we love Natalie and we love Raise Up Faith. And fun fact that Natalie may not even know, a long time ago, long before Natalie joined Raise Up Faith, I actually used one story, which she helped to create, which is one of the my favorite curriculum, honestly, on the platform for Raise Up Faith when I was working at a church in North Carolina. And then it's just kind of neat how God has brought a full circle moment long before, like I said, she knew who I was. I knew who she was because she was the face teaching the kids a lot of time on Sunday morning on one story. So for her to be here today is just super exciting, and for us to have got to meet in person and now get to work together as a partnership is just exciting for me. It just reminds me, I think I was sharing with Jane yesterday, like it is a big world, but yet it's a small world. And I love how God has that whole world in his hands. So welcome, Natalie. I'm going to share a little bit about Natalie. I'm going to read her bio because I'm not good at memorizing, but I think you guys will get to know Natalie better once you know her, once you hear her bio and know who she is. So Natalie has worked in ministry vocationally for over 15 years. She has her master's in a theological study for biblical studies and has begun her doctorate, wow, in practical theology with an emphasis on the spiritual experience of children. I think we'll be having you back, Natalie. I think you could speak into us a lot. And while the curriculum pastor for a multi-site church, Natalie published Raising Disciples, How to Make Faith Matter for Our Kids. That's published by Herald Press. And Natalie, later I'd like for you to share with our friends how they can obtain your book. It's a great book, and I think everyone needs it in their library. She is now the director of curriculum for Raise Up Faith, and she continues to do what she loves: content developing, team building, and pastorally nurturing the souls of whomever she meets. Natalie is married to Sam, and she's the mom to Aaron, and is in a close relationship with coffee. I think we would all say that we might be in a close relationship with coffee. She loves Jesus with her whole heart, and she's a big fan of Samoas. So again, welcome, Natalie, and welcome to all of you. I see most of us have our cameras turned off, which is great. But if everybody wants to turn on their microphone and just say good morning real quick, that would be a fun way to get our morning started. And then I'm going to explain a little bit about our partnership between CTA and Raise Up Faith. So if anybody wants to say good morning, we would love for that to happen now.
Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning.
Kathy from CTA. We met a little bit ago.
Hello.
And this is Kathy also on my team, the one that you just saw her hand. So, and to make things really interesting here, I have another Kathy on my team. So high likelihood if you call in and ask to talk to Kathy, one of us will talk to you.
Awesome.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you again.
Yeah. So what we believe is that we can go farther when we go together. And so our partnership with Raise Up Faith is really what I'd like to say about Raise Up Faith is they have everything you need. Just add the goldfish and the glitter. So we like to say maybe here at CTA that we are the goldfish and the glitter, although we don't provide snacks. We want to enhance the experience of those using Raise Up Faith by providing the incredible products that would go along with the curriculum. So it's just a really unique time in history that I don't know that there's any other partnerships truly like ours between curriculum companies and product development. So it's exciting, and we are thrilled to be able to partnership, especially for Raise Up Faith's Campfire VBS. I think that you guys are going to love the products that we have developed, and I know you're going to love the curriculum that Natalie has written to get that spark of fire flowing with Jesus in children's hearts. So Natalie, would you like to share with us a little bit about Raise Up Faith for our friends who might not know exactly what Raise Up Faith is? And I don't know if you would maybe even be able to share your screen to kind of show the platform a little bit, just to get people familiar with Raise Up Faith.
Yeah, absolutely. Strangely enough, I am having a little tech blip on my end, but
I'm
I think
sorry.
I can solve it. So that's a
Okay.
good thing. Forgive me if this is just a little clunkier than it needs to be. All right. Here we go. You should be able to, yes, perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Raise Up Faith. Who are we? We are a curriculum platform company. I love Kim's description. It has become exactly what we use all the time. It's everything you need for all of your ministry moments, minus the goldfish and the glitter. So there are 17 unique curriculums on our platform, and there might be some brands you recognize. Kim mentioned One Story that I was involved with co-creating, but we've also got What's in the Bible with Phil Vischer and his crazy puppets that we love. Some other brands that we've developed, Little Worship Company and Bible Time. Awesome Animals is an awesome, fun, joy-filled curriculum. LZ7, Tiny Truths, Treasure Champs, Friends and Heroes, you might recognize. 8-Bit Bible is a fun one I was involved with the creation of as well. The Parables, Cheeky Pandas, which is an hilarious UK-based creation. I like to just listen to the voices of the Cheeky Pandas because they've got the most brilliant little accents. God Rocks. And we also have 3 VBSs or holiday clubs, and we're going to kind of look in at Campfire VBS today. We also curate 52-week plans so that you can get to use different things along the platform. The really fun thing about Raise Up Faith, I think, is that you can choose a specific curriculum. For example, One Story Kids has a 4-year scope and sequence. So you can map out really far in advance, but you can also access all of the other content from other curriculums. So maybe you want to add in a special activity, or you've got an elders meeting and people are bringing their kids and you need some extra coloring pages or a craft to make or whatever. You can access all of those things right here. We've done the work for you to curate all the things that you usually, have multiple tabs open and trying to sort through Pinterest and all the like. And it's one subscription cost. So you're paying for one subscription, but you're getting access to 17 different curriculums. So that's very exciting to me. There's heaps of music on here too. I know oftentimes people will pay for other music to kind of supplement in their curriculum. There's music in here as well. Anyway, it's super fun. And I'm excited personally with the partnership with CTA because Campfire VBS is going to be such a fun thing to run. And I think that CTA has got a few really great additional products that can just really enhance the experience of Campfire. So yeah, I'll hand it back over to you, Kim.
Yeah. So one thing I would love to point out about Raise Up Face platform, like Natalie was saying, they do have all the different curriculum. When she was scrolling through and I saw Awesome Animals, what I love about Awesome Animals is what if you were teaching a lesson and it happened to involve an animal? Like, let's say you're talking about Balaam's donkey. And then you can go to Awesome Animals and you can pull out some really great video about a donkey. So that might be something that you would supplement to your curriculum as kids are first arriving into class. If you need something when kids are being picked up from classes, if you just find that your lesson went really fast that day and you have time and you're like, oh gosh, now what do I do? That's one thing I really love about Raise Up Faith is they've thought of all the different ways that you could use curriculum, and it's adaptable to your ministries. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. Just it's fun. There was a video I got to see one time where it was showing like parts of the animal and the kids were trying to guess what the animal was. So it's super educational as well as biblically based. So yeah, I just wanted to share that about Raise Up Faith. And I don't know that a lot of people realize how you can pick and choose from different curriculum to build your own custom curriculum.
Absolutely. And there's a great search function. So you can literally like click on the search and search for whatever it is, that you are looking for. So you mentioned the donkey. We can search the site for the donkey. Maybe so we've got 28 matches. We can make a donkey mask. There's an animal fact file video. Guess the animal. That's what you were referencing, Kim.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Sheets. And anyway, you get the idea. But we've made it as simple as possible for you so that you can maximize the amount of time that you have to do all of the work that you
Yeah.
do.
So I was just noticing the coloring sheet, and I just want to make sure that all of our North American friends, especially in the United States, realize they know they didn't spell it wrong. It is spelled with your traditional English spelling. Um, and I know that sometimes maybe that can be a challenge to those of us in America. But what I did when I was using this curriculum with my kids is when they would notice maybe that it was spelled wrong in their eyes, I would explain to them that people all around the world spell things differently. I think it's a great way to talk to our kids about the kingdom and how we all live in one kingdom, but we all may have different languages. So don't let that be a hindrance to you
Oh, that's
if you're
beautiful.
trying to choose a curriculum or if you're looking at it thinking, they not know how to spell, because absolutely they did know how to spell. So great. Thank you so much for explaining the format to us. If you guys have any questions about the platform, Natalie is happy to, at the end, we'll provide her email address and she's happy to answer any of those questions about the platform if you're considering switching to Raise Up Faith or using it as a supplement. What I love about Raise Up Faith is it's super affordable. If you are already committed to another curriculum and you want to try Raise Up Faith out, they have monthly plans and they have yearly plans, and it's based on the amount of children in your ministry. So it's super affordable. I think once you try it for a month, you'll be hooked like I was, and you would switch permanently. So, okay, now we're going to switch over and talk a little bit about Raise Up Faith's amazing Light the Fire curriculum called Campfire. So, Natalie, can you share a little bit about that with us?
Absolutely, I would love to. So here we are we're in it. Here is Campfire VBS. We're going to take kids on a classic hike through camp, experiencing all the things, or trying to touch on all the things that kids would experience at a summer camp. And so everything from your groups, your teams, we've called them cabins. So kids get into cabins, that's their cabin team, and they get to experience all of the best camp things. It's designed as a 5-day VBS, although we've also included modifications for how you can do that in different ways and shapes and forms. I want to jump into the camp director's manual, because if you're connecting with us now, chances are you're the camp director, or you are looking from that higher level. So here we go. We're jumping in and we're thinking now, I'm preparing for VBS. What do I need? Well, we're hoping to give you everything you could possibly need, including a link to CTA's collection of what they offer, which we'll talk about in a minute. But here you go, start here. Dearest director, your very best camp friend is found here. It's the director's checklist. So right inside here, you've got an overarching curriculum structure, like where do I find the things that I need? You've got it broken down into very specific categories. So if you have perhaps somebody looking after your snacks, they would get a tuck shop manual and be able to list in advance all the things that they might need to purchase, supplies, food, all the things that you might need. There's a scope and sequence for the camp, gives you the big picture glimpse. The camp itself really journeys through a good chunk of the book of Acts. And so we start with Philip interacting with the man from Ethiopia, which I know is kind of a strange start to a VBS, right? That's probably not a story that you've kind of really kicked off into camp, but the big idea is that Jesus is speaking to us. And so what does that mean? Who is Jesus? What is prayer for the kids that maybe come from our communities who don't know? So it's a great on-ramp to have these conversations. I love the big ideas. I think are super great for this VBS. Jesus loves everyone, absolutely everyone. And there's conversations about, well, does Jesus love bullies? And you can really engage the idea of enemy love with kids. Jesus is the light of the world. If you were on as we started this call, we had a great in the UK, they say that's a real banger. when it comes to a song that's like really, really kicks. So I love it. It's a real banger. Jesus is the light of the world. That's the theme song, and it's the midweek big idea. And then as Paul journeys to, in the boat, that, doesn't necessarily go well, he knows that God is looking out for him. So we talk about Jesus is our safe place. He's our rock, he's our fortress, he's our refuge. And then Jesus is unstoppable. So ending in the book of Acts with the wild story of Paul on the island getting bit by a snake when he's building a campfire, and then gets to share about God's kingdom and all of these incredible things. So that's all in there. And what I really think is so beneficial as we scroll down here. This is your best friend running Campfire, the director's checklist, which actually Kim was so incredible in helping me to craft, because she made sure to review this for me and gave me feedback, and it's been so handy. So it may appear to be a long list, but a beneficial one nonetheless. There's about 20 steps, and it gives you, how much in advance should I be recruiting my team? Suggestion is about 3 months in advance to give them good prep time and plan meetings and go over all the things. So when should I begin to promote camp? We've got this great little social media ad with Bear Grylls, who some of you may recognize that name. He's a wild adventure guy, and he did a little promotional for us. So it gives you really a good full picture scope of all the things required. And we've also got things like role descriptions and responsibilities to really help you clarify expectations for your team. We've given some additional full day options. So maybe you want to turn your VBS into a full day. Well, how do I do that? We've given it some thought for you, and hopefully you can just morph that into ways that work in your context. Everything you need for registration, from signage to even if you kind of go old school analog with forms as opposed to maybe an online sign up, we've done the work for you in that way. We've written emails to caregivers. We've got super fun images and graphics that you can have different items printed. Some of the things printed through CTA already. They've got some fun bags that we'll show you, but if you want some additional things for promotional materials and signage, we've got a bunch of that stuff here. For signage, I love these. And we've even considered social media content for you. So you want to share what's happening in your VBS or holiday club, you can share using the Instagram graphics that we've created for you. So that is big picture, some really fun pieces for you. And then if I were to just jump back, I'm just going to give you a glimpse big picture wise of a few other things. So we've got a camp counselor's manual that will help kind of in the day-to-day breakdown of things. So I often envision camp counselors being like your 15-year-old, 10th grade kids or 11th grade kids, maybe your leadership team or whatever of your youth group, that they can just really know clearly day by day what is expected of them. So that's within there. Base camp, that's your main session. That's where campers start and finish the day. We've got the theme song in there. We've got a phenomenal skit that arcs over 5 days called Going Camping that really helps highlight some of the themes as well. There's, oh gosh, everything that you want to start your day and end your day, including, I'll show this because I think this is super fun. I love the idea of take-home cards for parents. But what do you do when you go to camp? Well, you write a postcard home, right? So in the closing each day, there's postcards where kids can actually fill in the blanks. So today at camp we got to, my favorite thing to do, the thing our cabin did together was what I've learned from the Bible story about tomorrow I need to remember to bring. I hope that we can pray together tonight at bedtime to thank God for. And so the kids are getting a chance to rehash a little bit of their day at the end of Campfire, and then parents know what's going on. So I really love that as well. As mentioned, going back a step here, so base camp, there's a really great thing called Campfire Chats and Prayer Tent. So this is just like an additional discipleship moment that cabin groups can come and they'll watch a little video that goes along with that has questions about things like, does Jesus love bullies? And they'll engage that conversation and it'll tie into the Bible story for the day, and they'll then have a little prayer moment together in the prayer tents. And you could physically create a prayer tent very easily if you wanted to do that as well. The thing I love about Campfire is that the environments are actually quite simple to create. I mean, get your folks to, share tents, bring out artificial Christmas trees and create a little forest. You can either make or probably borrow what do you call, they call it bunting in the UK. I think it's like little mini flags, you'd put to decorate, or little twinkle lights, and there's just a lot of fun things you can do to create those. There's a
I'm just going
craft.
to jump in here really quick and say, and you
Please.
could create a campfire if you didn't want to bring in like wood and things. What if you had toilet paper rollers and paper towel rollers? I've had done that with kids. I'm sure all of you have too. And create a fire with those and use some tissue paper and maybe some little twinkle lights or something to make a campfire indoors.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I saw one, somebody that did Campfire last year when we were kind of piloting things, and they had a little like battery operated fan, and then they had tissue paper. And so the like red and orange and yellow tissue paper was kind of like poofing up as the flames. It was really lovely, lovely. Um, yeah, as mentioned, the craft cabin manual has supplies and all the things you would need to be directed to do that. What I really love about some of these crafts, I don't know, I like to think that I can think up crafts pretty well, but I must tell you, the crafts within this, let me see, uh, there's just some really creative ones. I don't know if you can see this totally clearly, but this is Saul on the road to Damascus, and when the light falls on him. So you're kind of drawing on a Ziploc bag. It's dark, and then you shine in this yellow flashlight, and it lightens up. I just love that. I think it's so creative. Just a really fun, different kind of craft than perhaps you normally do.
And
Uh,
very inexpensive.
very inexpensive, actually. That is a really good
Love
point, Kim.
that. Yes.
That's something that we've definitely taken into consideration when building this in general, is just making it really cost effective. Even some of the crafts that, invite you to pull from your recycle bins or whatever cardboard or things like that you might have, to just reduce those costs. Which is so handy. As mentioned, there's a tuck shop. The tuck shop includes both snack ideas as well as, I don't even know what to call them, craft snacks, snacks that you are building. So there's just some really creative, fun things like that in there. And then a field games manual. So whether you're you've got heaps of space, or if you are really in a confined, maybe inner city setting or something, there are activities for each day. And we've also crafted rainy day or smaller space bonus options, as well as large space bonus options as well, just to give you lots of variety in the game region, or to extend your time, whatever that might be. So that is a really quick, really big snapshot of Campfire VBS. And I'm sure there are questions or thoughts, but would love to engage any of that that Kim or anybody else might want to connect in on.
So what I love about what Natalie just shared is you do literally have everything you need. You need nothing else other than the goldfish and the glitter. But what I also love is they've considered every size of church, every location. Like she said, they've got a rain day plan. Last year, I know the VBS I was running, we did have rain 2 days, and had to figure out how to get like 800 kids in a gym for for game time at different times. So I love how they've already thought of that for you. You're not thinking on your feet at the last minute. They've been proactive for you. I love that the crafts are inexpensive and easy to do, with things that you probably already have in stock in your craft rooms or right there in your church. So thank you, Natalie, for doing that great overview of Campfire. Now you might be thinking, we already have our VBS, but gosh, I love this. What can I do with it? Well, you don't have to wait till next year to use it. Natalie and I have talked, kind of brainstormed together some different ways that you could use Campfire in your own setting. I know sometimes in the summer, we like to take a break from our regular curriculum. What a great way to use VBS or the Campfire VBS on a Sunday morning. Or what if it was just like a 1 month, especially if you have a month that has, and I haven't looked at the calendar, 5 weeks. Usually July seems to have 5 Sundays in a row, or there's usually a month in the summer that might have 5 weeks in a row where you could use this. Or maybe you have Wednesday night programming. What would it look like to use this on a Wednesday night programming? And I see Mel and I were on the phone Monday, and she's like, I would love to see this as an event on a weekend for families. What if, on Friday night, families came and didn't spend the night, but then came back on Saturday morning and just had your whole church decorated for a campfire and a camp theme, and families came and participated in this together. So I think what Raise Up Faith has created is very well done for VBS and for even for camp settings, but I think it has a lot of other ideas that you can use in your church settings. And Natalie, if I've forgotten any, please jump in and share, because I know we kind of brainstormed together.
No, I think that's all phenomenal. A couple of just additional pieces within that would be that there are suggested kind of how to restructure for those sorts of things, like a weekend retreat or things like that. There are suggestions within the director's manual for you already, so you don't have to try to rejig and figure it all out. And yeah, there was a church that ran Campfire VBS on their summer Sundays, and they said they had more than enough content to cover. They actually morphed the Sundays to make it last for 8 Sundays,
Oh, that's awesome.
just because there was so much content, and said they loved it. They actually gave us the idea of adding something called tuck bucks, so that kids could earn tuck bucks and maybe buy little items within the tuck shop setting, which was super great, and we absolutely loved the innovation there. So we've added tuck bucks in. The other thing I didn't mention that I think are super cute are badges for kids to earn. You go to camp and campers often will earn a badge. So we've created these little sticker badges that kids can earn, and just act as an additional incentive to be extra kind, to be a happy camper, who helps and shares with their friends, or sees the person who is kind of left out and invites them to join in. So there's some prompts for those sorts of things as well.
Yeah, I love that. They've thought of everything, you guys. This is a one-stop shop for sure. So thank you so much for sharing. Now, I would love to be able to share how we here at CTA have partnered with Campfire to bring you some amazing products. So I am also going to share my screen.
While Kim's sharing, I will say the little craft that she's about to share is far and
I'm
away
the worst. I'm the worst at sharing screens, so be patient with me. There we go. Okay, can everyone see these adorable products? Yes. Natalie, can we see it?
Yes.
Okay, so the first one is the activity book. And I was just sitting here this morning reading through this. You guys, it's top quality. It's super colorful, and it matches all the graphics. And in the very back, it talks about spreading like wildfire. And that's how we prayed for you this morning. I can't really see it, but spreading like wildfire. We truly believe that when you use Campfire VBS, you are going to light a fire in children and grownups. that will help spread a wildfire for Jesus. And we are just praying over that as you lead your kids. This puppet is so cute. I wish you guys had one of these in your hands. I can see this being used as a craft for sure, but also what would it look like to have one of these for every one of your kids? Maybe they were in their cute little backpacks that are also displayed on the screen, but what if these were something that maybe when they first arrive, on that first night of VBS, you have like 15 minutes usually in that time where everybody maybe is in the main auditorium getting ready for some songs and getting ready to start your VBS. What would it look like if these were on every seat, or if every kid got a packet when they walked in and every kid was putting this together while they were in that 15-minute waiting period? This could be a night where you could invite lots of people to come and spend time with the kids. So maybe this is a time you get to invite retired people who really don't want to volunteer for the whole week of VBS. Would say, hey, I would give you 20 minutes on the first night or the first morning, however you structure it. And they are in the auditorium. These are on the seats, and every kid is assembling one of these cute little s'more puppets. And then what if these are used during worship time? A lot of times, we'd like to teach children how to engage in worship. And we don't necessarily like them, it's like mimic us. We want them to be free to worship how they want to. But what if these were in their hands and these were all waving in the air and they were using these to worship and they were with them every step of the way throughout their VBS? I can just think of a lot of other ways to use these cute little s'mores. There's no glue required. There's no glitter required, even though, we all love glitter. You're not going to make a mess is what I'm trying to tell you. These would be easily assembled in the auditorium, and every kid should take one of these home. What would it look like then for them to put them on their dresser or somewhere in their bedroom as a reminder of all they learned during VBS with Campfire? And I can see these used on a Sunday morning in much the same way. And then I think we also are going to show our Campfire backpacks. Again, your volunteers, your camp directors, your cabin leaders will need one of these. Every one of them will need this to carry all the stuff, the Band-Aids, the crafts. Every kid's always going to, they bring stuff to VBS and they ask their leader, will you hold this for me? Will you hold this for me? So I would order one of these for every one of your volunteer leaders. I think all CMLs need one of these during the week too. I know I always had one on my back during VBS for my phone and all the things, like all my incident reports I had to carry around, the things you have to carry with you. But also, what would it look like if you're in a smaller setting, or if you had the budget to order one for every kid? And as they wear those during the summer, like to the zoo or to the park out with their families, other people might ask, hey, what is Campfire? And they would be able to spread that wildfire with their friends. And then we have the little goodie bags. Again, this could be for goodie bags or for treats, but they could also put their snacks in them. They could put their crafts in them to take home. I'm sure all of you can think of a lot more ways to use them than I just listed. But the great thing too is that then we have the whole activity pack, so that's sold at a little bit less of a cost point for you. Now, you may be saying, but they say out of stock. It's because they haven't arrived in the warehouse yet. So don't fret. We do have the little Campfire activity books if you want to get a head start and order those. Those might be fun, even if you don't plan to use them in your VBS setting. What would it look like to give those to kids on the very last day of school, or the very last Sunday when school, or the very first Sunday after the last day of school, and tell the kids to get started with these at home to use as a not prerequisite, like a whatever to VBS. So those don't have to be saved until VBS. If you want to order those now and go ahead and get head start with the kids talking about Campfire and lighting that fire with them. And the rest of these are planned on being in stock by May 1st. And you might notice, well, I don't know if it tells here, if you click on them, it should give an option where you can enter your email and you will be notified as soon as those come into stock. So Natalie, is there anything you want to share about the products that we have that maybe I failed to cover, or some other ideas that you thought of that CMLs might want to use these?
Honestly, I'm so enamored by the s'more puppets. I love them so much. I kid you not, I think I might order a bunch for myself just to be able to give out to the kids in my life, because I think they're so fun.
They're so adorable.
And they say on the top, what do they say
on the top? Stir up one another to love. Hebrews 10:24.
Which is our key verse for the Campfire week. So I love that, and it's just and I think you're exactly right with the drawstring tote bags. Like, that would be such a benefit. And oftentimes we're like, what do we give to our volunteers as just like nice little additional pieces. I would say even if you had the budget to like pre-pack, not it full, but to give some items within that, give a handful of Band-Aids, maybe you're putting bubbles in there because your campers have to wait for something, and so the counselor can get some bubbles out or whatever that might be, just to give them a few tricks in their bag quickly, to help in that time. So I love this stuff.
I'm
So
glad
fun.
you hit on some tips. Another tip we discovered last year at the VBS I was running, we had live worship music, which can be a little bit more loud, I guess, maybe than, recorded. And so we, in all of our bags, we had at least 2 pair of headphones that were child size, that were noise canceling for our friends that might have a struggle with the loud noise. And so all those were already pre-packed in our backpacks for our leaders too. So yes, please pre-pack your bags. Your CMLs and your leaders will be so grateful that you thought of all those little things that they're going to need to be successful as they lead little ones to Jesus. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. If you all are interested in purchasing our items, think they've already put it in the chat or they will soon, you get a 20% discount. And that's through the 21st of the month. There should be a discount code in there for you. If you spend at least $99 and you're in the lower 48, it's free shipping for you. So take advantage of these products. We think they will enhance your Campfire VBS experience. So we want to make sure this is interactive, and we have a few minutes that we can take some questions. So if anyone has questions for Natalie or myself, we would love to just give you guys this time. Or if you have ideas that you want to share that we have not covered, that you've thought of as Natalie or I have shared, we would love to have your feedback at this time. Everyone's quiet this morning. Do we have any questions in the chat? I was looking through that really quick. I don't see any. Okay. Well, if there aren't any questions, I think I want to wrap it up and thank everyone for joining us today. Natalie is easily reached at, I guess we should have put your email in the chat, Natalie. I apologize. If you have time, maybe to just type that in real quick. If you want to reach out to Natalie directly about anything Raise Up Faith, to start your subscription, to find out pricing, to find out more about Campfire, to find out where to purchase her book, she's provided her email address right there in the chat. I know she would be happy to connect with you. And she's a member of our community too, so you can chat with her right there in the CTA community. I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules as you're getting closer to Easter. And just as a quick reminder, Easter is early this year, but you still have time to order your Easter products from us here at CTA. So get those orders in soon so you are prepared for Easter and your families that you're going to be asking them to join you on Easter Sunday. So, hey, Natalie, would you mind praying for us this morning as we end our time together?
I would love that. It's a joy too.
Thank
Holy God, we thank you so much for the incredible community of CMLs that you have raised up right around the world. God, for the folks that are thinking about how do I engage well kids in our context, whether they're our own kind of church kids or kids that are coming from community settings that maybe don't know you. God, we pray that you would help us, equip us, to be able to help light that spark that is going to ignite into a holy wildfire in a way that only you can set off. But God, we're so grateful that you want to use us in the process to do that. Lord God, for each one on this call, in whatever space they're moving into next post this call, I just pray, God, that you would fill them with your love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control today. We pray all these things in Jesus' most wonderful name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Natalie. What a beautiful prayer. So thank you all for joining us. We can't wait to see you next month here on our live webinar. Again, if you have questions for Natalie, she's provided her email, but she's also in the community. If you have questions for us at CTA, be sure to reach out to us. We are here to support you in any way we can, and we hope you have a great week.